and Zach.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
It's time for another episode of Messy Mondays.
Okay.
Oh, there was a dance. You can't see it.
Oh, your care for the weekend. Oh,
Hey, I'm Zacary Landau.
I'm Tom Cornell.
And
This is
yeah,
Messy Mondays. This is it.
we attempt to give advice when people actually call into our hotline.
Yeah, we try.
We're still on the hunt for
We're on the hunt for problems, which in this state of the world, you think some people would have more problems for us, but
I didn't think it would be
maybe
this complicated.
you know what? Neither do I. But
I know I have a wealth of goodies.
I have some stuff to discuss, but I wouldn't call it anything particularly messy on my end. It's just things.
Well, I guess it depends on what you consider a mess.
But you said you had a moment that we'll get to later. But if you want to share your
Oh.
messy moment with us so we can help you with your problems, or just so we can make fun of your problems, whatever you want us to do, there's two ways to do that. I'm going to give you the written format. It's
Yeah.
messymondayshow@gmail.com. Now Zach's going to throw a number at you, which you can call in.
Yeah,
Leave
we
a
also
voicemail.
have an official fancy schmancy Messy Mondays hotline, and that number is 412-437-8558. That's 412-437-8558. And yeah, call in, leave a voicemail, tell us a funny story. If you have a problem you need help with, you can stay anonymous, you can shout out your name, do whatever you want, live your life.
Yeah.
But we'd love to hear from you.
We would love to hear from you. We would like for our hotline to bling.
I want it to be hot. Right now it's not very hot.
No, it's cold.
It's stone cold.
It's
So
cryogenically frozen, getting ready to be smashed in the counter, like in Jason Goes to Space.
Well, that's a throwback to Jason X that we talked about on
Yeah.
my podcast this week. Wow.
Yes, it is.
Wow, you listened.
I listened, and I also sought that scene out because I wanted to see it. It was pretty wild.
It was wild.
It was pretty wild.
In case anyone doesn't know, in the film Jason X, which is the Friday the 13th movie where they go to space, that's where we're already starting out. Someone gets their face entirely smashed after getting their head dunked into whatever you want to call it, cold water. What's the
Justin Bieber?
What is it? The word's not coming to me.
It looks like dry, like cryogenic, I don't know.
Cryogenic juice.
Yeah, some kind of what they would, like how everyone says Walt Disney's head is cryogenically frozen. Yeah. Whatever that is, this woman got her head stuffed into it.
Or
so then her
cold water.
I don't know. I feel like there's more chemicals involved in whatever's
ice cold water.
I know. I just imagine Walt Disney's head floating in ice water, and they just replenish the ice.
I love that. He wants to be brought back to life. Ooh. We just had him in a bottle of water.
I don't know that anyone from the history needs to be brought into a present time.
Yeah, let's talk to Mickey Mouse Man. Let's see what he has to say.
I also think, wasn't he famously anti-Semitic? We're not trying to bring that energy back into the world.
No, we're not trying to do that. I would agree with that. That'd be like
the ideologies of history. I don't need to revisit,
Now, well, here's a question. Let's say you could talk to anybody, you could bring anybody back for a night to have a dinner with. Is there anybody from history you would want to do that with? You could ask them all the questions you've ever had.
Wow. No.
Nobody? Oh, I know I have some. I definitely have some.
But I think the way you and I approach, the rest of our lives, we both approach culture very differently.
I would disagree with that.
I not that I don't appreciate culture of the past, but I feel like most of the culture I indulge in is present or recent history.
Right.
Yeah.
The one that comes to mind,
yeah.
The one that comes to mind because I want to be what's up, girl? Tell me what was going on. Is Marilyn Monroe. Yeah, just because
that's a good one.
Be girl, it's we all love you now. If that's any consolation.
Yeah,
we all love you.
That one's a fair one. My first thought, the one that I had was Janis Joplin, but I don't know that it's really a thing that I need to do. But
I don't know if I need to have a dinner with her.
Right. I don't know that there's, like maybe John Benet Ramsey if you like want to go down that realm.
Girl, what happened? Girl, what
What
happened to
happened?
you?
Who asked you?
We still talking about it all this time later.
We still are. Until we get a definitive answer, it's not
Was it the
gonna stop.
brother? Was it your parents? Was it somebody else? What do you think, Tom? I'm talking to you,
Me.
Tom.
I think
What
it's
do
the
you?
brother.
Oh, you think
I
the
think it's
brother
the brother and the
accidentally killed
parents
her?
covered it. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I think when that version of the story kind of came out, I'm like, oh, that makes the most sense. Yeah, that's probably it. Like that, it makes sense to me. Also,
Yeah.
poor child.
Right. Like a tragic story anyway, but like
Yeah.
I think it would have been more resolvable if they just like copped up to that as opposed to like trying to hide everything.
When aren't the parents dead now?
Oh, I don't think so.
No, I thought like the mama died of cancer and the no. Oh no.
I also that particular murder case is like not one that I'm like super invested in, but I would like to know the answer. I would like to be the one person who knows the answer. You know what I mean?
I have a weird story connected to the John Benet Ramsey case.
Okay.
Do you want to hear it? It's
Yeah, I guess sure.
I had a friend that used to live, I can't remember where, it was some other state. It was somewhere up north, but they
Okay.
were renting a house from this person. And when the landlord had like given them the tour of the house, he said, oh, by the way, there are a bunch of boxes in the basement that I'm just storing here for somebody. So just put your stuff around it, but just, try and not go through those boxes. And they're like, okay, sure, of course not. And then she lives there the entire time, never messes with these boxes, only later finds out that most of those boxes contained all of the files on the John Benet Ramsey case because one of the lawyers attached to it like owned that house or something. So she was like, I could have had access to all of the files. And she just never knew.
Oh, that stresses me out in a multitude of ways. Like that also, like, why is it just in a house?
I guess it was
I
well, that was the other
don't
thing. I
really
was like, why do you have, I mean, I guess he had copies of files, I guess, but like
like I just all in one place conveniently for someone to be like stumble upon.
it's not the best plan. Maybe he didn't know they were there. I don't know. Maybe he was dead. It was something like, I think either he was dead or he was like I don't know, not worried about this house. I don't know. But yeah.
Clearly.
But can you imagine being like, I had all those files. I could have had like a night of reading.
A night. That had been like months. You would have had like a cork board up with like strings attached.
They come by, hi, we're gonna pick up those boxes. Did you guys open the boxes? No.
No, we just love true crime. We've been trying to figure this shit out forever.
Oh God. People love true crime podcasts. Can I say it? Like it's
you can. It's a fact. Like there's no doubt about it. It's like one of the. I think it is maybe the most popular genre to get into.
Yeah, I mean, people love that shit. It's so fascinating.
Here's my thing about true crime
Yeah.
podcasts.
Yeah.
Okay, like obviously, like everyone's gonna like something different when they listen to true crime, but
Sure.
you're gonna hear the same story. Like you can't listen to more than one,
No.
especially if they've all covered like a lot. Like like last podcast on the left and My Favorite Murder. Both of those podcasts have been around for like a good while.
Yeah.
But like they both cover like the same things, maybe not at the same time, but like
the same cases though.
Right. So like, what are you really getting out of it? I don't understand.
That's why I like the ones that have like a twist.
Like what?
Just like a different way of covering the material, so at least it feels less static. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think like I liked Serial season 1, but like who didn't, I guess.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah,
it was like they were like that was like everyone, podcast exists.
That was like the shit. Yeah, that was like it. What was the other one that was really good? I guess it's not a murder. Well, no, was it a murder mystery or was it not a murder? Do you remember Shit Town?
Yeah, I didn't listen to that one, but yeah,
it's really good. It was really, really good. I can't remember if someone dies, but I remember it was really good. I could probably re-listen to it because right now I'm like, wait, what happened?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll revisit old things that I don't like remember what happened. Like
it usually comes back to me all in a flood where I'm like, oh, right. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I re-listened to Serial maybe a couple times, like not right in a row, but like just to hear it again.
Oh, I definitely
very well
listened to
done.
it again. because I
Uh,
sometimes, especially with stuff like that, it's so much information being thrown at you that I feel like I've already forgotten half of it by the time it's over. So sometimes I
mhm.
need like to go back and like watch again. But what do you think is the thing? I don't know why this became a episode about this, but why do you think people are so into like true crime? Like it's become such a mega business.
Well,
Isn't that so
okay. I don't know.
fascinating?
This might not be right, but this is my take on it. Like
And that's all I want, baby.
we're all gonna die, right? Mortality is part of all of us. So to hear like that people like to think about someone taking another person's mortality, which is really all you have. It's
Yeah.
like if you break it down to bare bones minimum, like we just have life. That's like all we have in this whole
Shit.
world is just life. We were gifted this opportunity. And so there are people who have died behest the hands of someone else. And the psychology of that person, like deciding that that was a viable option and a reasonable option of thing for them to do is just very fascinating. Just like
Mm,
think about those kind of things. And I don't know that that's like what directly everyone would say, but I think
right.
like that's like what it all boils down to.
Mm,
um I will say like whenever what I am most interested in, I kind of like one-offs that are just like very interesting and disturbing.
mhm.
Like I remember on My Favorite Murder, they talked about one, and this like has stuck with me. Like this is this
Oh
particular
gosh.
story like lives in my brain because I was just like, I can't. What could you imagine? So
Oh
it was
god.
it was in Canada, I believe, and there was a bunch of people on a Greyhound from like one place to another. But Canada is a vast, large area where there's not a lot of things in between the things you need to be at. Is what it sounds like. So they were on a Greyhound, like going through the countryside of Canada, whatever that may look like. And this man who turned out to be like schizophrenic was off of his medication,
Oh.
took out a machete and decapitated someone on the bus. So the bus stops and all the people like of course are like rushing out, but the guy doesn't leave the bus. It's not like he like was on a murdering spree. The voices in his head told him that he needed to kill that guy specifically. And so now I'm just imagining like you all these people are just still by the bus because there's nowhere to go. So if they leave the road, there's like definitely no hope for them. But the man is like also not threatening them by coming off the bus.
Right.
He's like espouting like his what's going on in his brain essentially. But my favorite thing I think that they said is at some point he this is very morbid, but like imagining like the psychological trauma of this particular moment where this man like stuck this dead man's head out the window, just like showed it to the people. I was like,
He
I'd
showed
be
it to
throwing
them?
up. He showed it to them.
Oh my god.
Um, but what's interesting about
Which
that
like
is like
everyone left the bus and he was like on the bus alone. They were just like, what do we
they
do?
like waited for people. I think they did get in contact with like people to like come save
Right.
them, but
Oh,
what was interesting about that though, and I think this is like a more this is also more interesting to me, is that in Canada, they're actually like people their reform system is to actually reform. So
right.
he like got back on medication and he's like very resentful. Like he does not love that that
No,
happened.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
the
yeah,
man,
yeah,
like
yeah,
now
yeah.
that he is like back to his senses and he told the I think he told the government to kill him. Like that was like what he asked them to do, but they like he's like back on medication and now he like kind of like lives in a situation where like he's like not imprisoned, but like he is watched to make sure he's like staying medicated. So like
Oh,
he like almost is living, almost is free, but like he was rehabilitated,
that's
I guess, to the best
awful.
of their yeah, it's like a real just wild ride from start to finish. But like, could you imagine just like being on a Greyhound, turning around and seeing someone casually getting decapitated? Like that is insane to me. That has stuck with me. The image that I've created in
I
my brain is just unreal.
That's the kind of shit that like, yeah, fucks with your head where you're just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like yeah, no, I can't think like I think about that shit all the time in these crazy like murder docs where I'm like, what would I have done if I had been the person to find that body or like to have seen this crazy thing have happened in front of me? It's just like, I don't know,
Uh,
too much.
I know that my option is just run. Run. I also I have come to the conclusion in my brain that like if I were in some kind of like life or death situation where someone was trying to attack me, I would be like, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna try my best to like fuck this person up as much as
Sure,
I
no,
can
yeah, yeah, yeah.
before I'm out, you know?
That's what they say. They say fight. There's like
Yeah.
don't wait to fight. Like don't
Yeah,
go
just
to another place. Don't do that.
no, oh no, just do it now.
I've been so
Yeah.
because I don't know what don't know if it was the stuff I was watching when I was a kid or whatever, but I've always grown up with a weird fear of kidnapping, even though like I don't think I'm ever gonna get kidnapped. But like yeah. Well, I guess now it's not
And
kidnapped, but it's a
right. Adult
thing.
napped.
Adult nap.
I
That
also
sounds
like
fun.
being like kidnapped like that would you have to be associated with like money in some way that
For
you
sure.
have to be associated with
No
something that
one's
other
after me.
people would want, right? Yeah, it's
No
like
one's coming
my
after
family
me.
wasn't like my family was like wasn't rich enough for anyone to be like we have to get him, you know.
Well, they're gonna kidnap me for my body.
Oh, okay. I mean that is a thing that I guess could happen. I never went that route. I was like they're gonna like I was like I'm
For some
good.
like bear sex trafficking like operation. I don't know. So but you never know. In this day and age, you never know.
Don't put those vibes out there.
Someone's like, oh,
Oh, can I do that?
what an idea.
No, no,
Ah.
no.
No, but because I used to watch when I was way too young. I remember watched it in middle school. I watched Silence of the Lambs, and there's a whole thing where the girl gets kidnapped by Buffalo Bill
Yeah,
and
yeah,
is
yeah.
like kept in that well. And I'd be like, oh God, what would I do? What would I do? Because now I think about it, I watched a lot of weird things. Like I also watched the movie The Cell. I don't know if you know that movie. It's with Jennifer Lopez, and it's like she goes into like dreams. She can go into dreams, and there's a serial killer who also kidnaps women. And there's this woman who's like trapped in this tank that like slowly fills up with water over time. And like I just watch these things and be like, what would I do? And I'm like, this is too much stress. I shouldn't have been watching these
Yeah.
things.
Well, okay. So like I have been. This like is like related, unrelated, but like kind of relates to where we started with this conversation,
Yeah,
which was like
whatever.
horror.
Hello, tangent.
uh, well, so I have been like I don't know. I think I mentioned this to you before, maybe not on this podcast, but like horror is like always a genre that I'm like titillated by, but don't watch. Like I don't like
I love
actually
the
like.
word titillated.
It's a great word. It's a great
Titillated.
word. Titillated. And it's always like something that I want
Titillated.
to. I want to
Little shoulder
explore.
shimmy with it, like titillated.
And I understand that like horror is like a genre that gay people often associate themselves with, which is like
Yeah.
very bizarre. I don't know what that says. I don't know the deeper psychological ramifications of that. But what I'm but my point is, I will like sometimes read Wikipedia articles, which we talked about with like Ma. Like I know it happens in Ma, but I stumbled across this YouTube channel called Dead Meat, and he does like death recaps. Like, so he'll
Oh my
count how many people get killed, and but then he also is like recapping the movie, and it is like my sweet spot. It's like
God.
I get to
Ooh.
see all of the kills without having to commit to watching the movie. Like I have to commit maybe 15 to 25 minutes to like really take it all in, and then I
Yeah.
get to like move along. And it's like not scary because I'm not living in the environment,
Do you ever
and
get
like I'm like
inspired
making
to actually
space.
watch the movie?
Not so far.
Okay.
I did. I okay. So I watched the one on Hereditary, which I've not seen.
I love that
Um,
movie.
so I remember reading the Wikipedia, but like the
Yeah.
Wikipedia did not do a very good job describing it because once he puts clips
It's a
in and
hard
stuff.
movie to describe, I'll be honest.
Yeah, and so I was just like, I mean, it really does. It goes all over the place. It really like goes from here to there.
Well, I
So
remember
like
we covered it on my other show, Two Gays Watch, and when I was
mm,
writing out the plot synopsis to like read on the show, I was like, I don't know how the fuck do you describe this movie? Like, it was
right,
very hard.
and it was hard for the, like spoiler alert, anyone who's not seen it.
Spoiler alert,
But the little girl,
Hereditary.
well, they sold you on that little girl, and she
Yeah,
gets decapitated early on in the film. So
yeah. Oh, that was a gag
it's
when
a,
I saw the movie because I didn't know anything about it. All I knew was the trailer, and so again,
mhm.
I thought it was gonna be all about this little girl and like crazy shit happening around this little girl. And suddenly she's dead, like 20 minutes into the movie, and I was like,
Mhm.
oh, okay. Like it was just weird, wild movie.
What there what did he covered one movie that I was like, well, maybe I'll watch that, but it was like a B slasher. It looked like more funny than like it was like the
Yeah.
Slumber Party
Oh my
Massacre 2,
god, I've heard about that. I actually would
where
love to
he
see
like
that.
plays an electric drill, like electric guitar that has a drill on one end. And I was like, this is wild. Like this is really crazy. But sometimes he'll do like, I mean, obviously horror has like a lot of subgenres with it, but the ones that I
Yeah.
really can't deal with are like body horror, like
Oh,
kind of things. This was not.
no.
So I have like,
I'd rather I
I,
like horror movies that don't show you stuff. Like I actually prefer that.
well, I don't mind, like, I don't like when they like keep people alive, but then like keep
Mm.
messing up their
No,
body like
yeah,
that. Just like,
no,
like
no,
I can't do
no.
all of that. Um,
Like what's that movie? Do you know the movie Audition?
is that the one? It's on Netflix, like the Netflix movie. No,
Maybe
I
it's a
know.
Japanese horror film from like, oh, I don't know when it was made, like early 2000s, something like that. But the whole
Mm.
movie is basically leading up to this last scene with this crazy girl and this guy, and then suddenly it's like the most violent 15 minutes of film you've ever seen in your entire life. It's just like, ugh, ugh.
I think I remember hearing people talk like about that. Like I don't know anything about it. I did. I
I think
also
it'd
like
probably be a
that.
good one to watch a video about because it is
Mm.
fascinating the story of that movie, but like it's I could never watch it. I had to close my eyes for half of it.
And I also he covered one movie that I was like, I think I want to watch that, but I know I definitely don't want to watch that. So it filled my little quota of it. But like when the Belk experiment, was that what it was called? When that came out, I was like, I would see that.
What
And I
is
was
it?
like, I would never see it. The Belk experiment?
The Belk
It
experiment?
was like a horror comedy where like all of the people who worked in this building got locked in it and they had them kill each other.
Oh, it's a comedy?
Yeah,
Like a
yeah,
weird horror dark comedy?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
It's just really violent.
yeah, it was a lot like Battle Royale, but like not that. Have you seen Battle
Okay,
Royale?
okay. No.
Oh, I have. I actually have seen that. I've actually watched.
Wow, a movie that you've seen that I haven't.
Wow. I mean, I watched
What a
it once. I
moment.
was like, I was also very bothered. So it's like, I'll never watch this again.
Well, okay, so I don't know. I have a messy moment that
Okay.
that is mine
Okay.
of
So
my
we're going.
life.
We're going. Okay,
I
we're
think
going.
maybe
Okay.
it's time to go there. I don't know because it's the whole
Let's.
story. It's a whole
Okay.
story.
Let's get the whole story.
It's a whole horrifying story.
Did this
Okay.
all happen yesterday?
This has been happening for the past about week and a half, but it's just finally I need to get it off my chest is what
So
basically
you were
needs to
you were in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Nothing happened. You'll see. Okay, okay.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so to preface is a story about my parents who I don't think listen to this podcast, but if you're listening, I guess this is how we're going to talk about this. But I don't think they don't listen to the show.
I
Like, I
don't
don't
know. I like when they're not gonna contact me. How I'm all like, oh, don't. But
call the
maybe
Messy hotline. Like I don't got something to
what if
say.
this just erupts into like you airing out dirty laundry with
Yeah.
your family in real
Listen,
time?
I'm not I didn't do anything. So that's a good
Okay,
thing. I
okay,
didn't
I'm
do
okay.
anything. To
I'm
my
ready to hear
sister
this.
who I think listens to this, this is the story and like I guess call me later if you want to.
This is
Okay.
really messy. You are like giving a preface. Okay, I'm ready.
Girl, I can't even okay,
Okay,
so okay, to
okay.
start okay, so I
I'm nervous.
I mean, girl, I am.
Okay, I just need to throw that out there. I'm like
I've
clutching
been
my
actually
pearls.
excited to talk about this for a couple days. Um,
Okay.
okay, no, so I was not excited, but like I was like, this will be a good story. Okay,
Mhm.
so only a couple of people have my Amazon Prime password, is what I would say.
Okay.
The people who have my password, I believe, are like my sister, my parents, and there was one other friend that I thought had my password. And they were the person I was hoping this was all going to lead back to. And then they told me yesterday that they've never used my password. So the thing with Amazon Prime is anything you watch on Amazon Prime shows up on your watch list. And I have the feeling that my one of my parents doesn't know
Sister,
this.
stop listening. Sister, stop listening. You don't want to hear whatever's coming out.
I didn't
Okay.
want girl, I'm kind of
I
like
know you
good
didn't want to.
riddance.
I'm
I had
trying
to
to save her.
no, I had to see it. Okay, so it started with like one oh, God, I wish I had the titles in front of me so I could like wait, no, actually, yeah, hold on. I'm gonna bring it up because I won these were crazy titles. I can't even. So it's okay. So yeah, to cut through the chat, I saw. Okay, here it is. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Okay. Oh no, there's a new one. Oh god. Okay, here we go. In real time, I just discovered that. Okay, you guys. Okay, so we're gonna start off at the very beginning. The first thing I ever saw was a movie called Lost Lust, and it had a very sexually attractive blonde woman. And let me read you the plot synopsis.
Okay.
Blindsided by the death of her husband, Beth joins a grief counseling group in search of answers. As she bonds with others dealing with similar losses, innocent friendships soon evolve into intense sexual encounters. And like, it looks like a softcore porn. You can't really see it. Like,
that is.
yeah. Okay, so that was already like, I was like, weird. Who watched that? Okay, and kind of didn't think much of it. But then I didn't have much time to think about that until there was a new one called Passion in Prison, which just has two sexy women. And the plot synopsis for this one is two incarcerated strippers try to escape prison through seducing anyone who gets in their way. So all of this was already bad enough until this very moment when I went to research. Oh, what was the name of those two? There's a new one called Sexorcist. And the girl, listen, okay. When an unknown paranormal entity gains access to a Los Angeles model agency by morphing into handsome young men, what the fuck? I'm sorry. Like, I just can't even. The sexy starlets become obsessed with the ghostly sex, even though it's resulted in the unexplained death of a girl? What's going on? Like, now, let me tell you, my last tinge of hope, but I mean, no, it's not true, is that maybe someone hacked into my account and someone's watching this porn, but I just don't think that's what's. And I just, one for one, I didn't even know there was softcore porn on Amazon Prime. So the fact
I also, you said that, and I was like, I'm going to explore this. I'm going to see what's there. Like, I have to know. Well, I mean, you gave me 3 titles, but I want to know all of them.
but okay, but back to where I'm horrified. So
yeah. Right.
So I don't know what to do because I don't want to keep seeing these. I don't want to keep finding these. But there's no way to bring it up without just me dying of embarrassment. I don't even know. This is like also it's like my Christian parents who are like weird about me being gay, and yet I'm finding all this like softcore like porn. I just want to be like,
well, I would assume it was just your father, but do you think they're watching it together?
No, I don't know. Okay. Absolutely not. No, I think it's my dad.
Well,
and there's also a part of me that's like, well, if my like, not to get like totally whatever, but like, my dad wants to do whatever he wants to do, like, whatever. I'm not here to like shame somebody.
You can make separate profiles on Amazon Prime.
Maybe that's what I'll do.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just be like, hey, I made you guys a profile so that you can just use that, and that way I won't have to see that.
Yeah.
That's just what I should do.
That's what I would. That's the right decision.
I don't want to talk about it.
But in my head, I would just start being like, I know what you did last summer.
I do love that I like have all these like, I'm like, I know everything you do.
Comfortable family dinner. You're just like, and I watched The Exorcist the other day. And just like make eye contact.
I watched the best movie last night. It's called Passion in Prison. I can't like I'm so.
Have you like skimmed through video footage of any of these movies?
No, I haven't yet. I didn't really want to.
Whoever
was watching did not finish The Sexorcist, so I guess here's the thing. This makes no.
It must have been a spicy scene.
Also, my dad doesn't like scary things, so I'm like, yeah, but also, oh god, I could die. This just all feels so wrong. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm sure. For you, this is mortifying. This is very funny.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I was like, this is a good story, even though like, fuck me, like I don't want to know this. I don't want to know any of this.
No, you shouldn't. We shouldn't. I shouldn't know this.
Well, if I had to know, I want to share the wealth. Yeah.
Well, I'm thankful. Hashtag thankful for this.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm just gonna be like, I made a major profile called like whatever, mom and dad. Like
Yeah, I just recently realized that you could do that. It's just like on Netflix and everything else. But like I was watching Degrassi and then I was like, my brother probably doesn't want to see like continue watching Degrassi when he opens up Amazon Prime because we share his account. So I was like, I need to like move this so it's not affecting his algorithm. Cause you know, like you scroll through your recommendations, it tries to
I'm just like,
accommodate
I think it's
you.
so funny that like my dad can't find like John Wayne movies on Amazon Prime, but he can find The Sexorcist. Like, how do you even find this stuff?
What if it a plot twist? It's your mom.
Oh my god, stop. Stop.
What if they watch it together? Maybe she's involved.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I was praying. I thought it was maybe my friend Aaron because I thought he had my password. And so I was like, oh God, please, please let it be Aaron watching softcore porn. I'm like, because I would have been like, girl, get your rocks off. But like I can see everything you're watching.
Your co-host from your other
Yeah,
podcast?
like I would be like totally, I would have been like, I can deal with that. I can deal with that.
Is Aaron not gay?
Hmm?
Isn't
Oh,
Aaron
Pan.
gay?
Aaron is Pan.
Oh, I did not know. Okay.
Yeah, so like, ugh, I can't even. And then yeah, Aaron made it clear to me that he had never used my password. So it's not Aaron. I don't think it's my sister. Maybe that's plot twist. It's my sister, but I don't think
Podcast
so.
is your sister. Or maybe
But
when she
this
started
doesn't
listening,
seem
she
like
was
behavior of my
mortified. She was like,
sister.
I've been found. I've been found out.
Oh, no, my sister, this does not make sense for my sister because my sister doesn't even seem to intensely even like porn in general, but definitely I don't think this type of porn would be like her jam. So, yeah.
It is interesting. Like, I mean, obviously we could all
Mhm.
be found out anytime we like someone could get into our phones and very
Oh
easily
my god,
figure
there's
out
so much
whatever
to
you're
find on my
into.
phone.
Yeah, right,
I
right.
can
But
barely
like,
scroll through my pictures in public without being like, oh, dick. Like,
oh,
like,
I certainly can't.
no.
So I'm with you I'm with you there.
Yeah.
But like, it's not like when you, it's not like when you go to like Pornhub. It's not like previously watched. Like, could you imagine if like, it's like,
Oh my god.
because I feel like very upsetting. But like,
Zach, what were you watching? I'm like, that's between
right,
me and me.
right. And so I
That's
guess
between me and my subconscious. Okay, baby.
it feels like an amateur move. I
Mm,
mean, unless
yeah,
you're like, if that's there's something titillating to you about softcore porn specifically, where you're like, it's like more interesting because it's not really the thing, but it's like kind of the
sure.
thing.
This
It's just like
feels
it's a
like
weird.
more of a, this feels like something that like it makes total sense if
It,
it's my dad. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like
yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like a young person isn't gonna like run to Amazon to be like, where can I find the porn?
I
Like,
guess I'm just confused how he hasn't noticed that when he goes back to Amazon Prime, the other things that he's watched are like on the screen. Like
right. And does your mother also not watch Amazon
no,
Prime?
they definitely have. First of all, I also know I found out they watched How I Met Your Mother. I don't know. Like,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
like,
Well,
what?
interesting.
Oh yeah, oh girl. I'm like, what?
What?
Why?
Interesting show to choose. I've watched all of it, so I
This
can't
is
say
here's
anything.
what's so wild about this for me. This is my dad who, like, if I go to pick a movie for us to watch as a family, he's like, well, make sure it's something I can watch. Like, because he's all like, I can't have cursing, it can't have sexual content. So like this has been weird for me.
I don't know. Just this is you make the profiles, but you hold on to this. You pull this out whenever it's necessary.
Don't think I won't. I will never
I know
forget.
you will.
I will never forget.
Some
Don't
people
you worry
some
about that.
people will never forget 9/11. Zach's never gonna forget
Never
the
forget.
softcore porn.
Never forget when I found Passion in Prison and Sexorcist on my.
The Sexorcist title is wild.
That's a great. Can't even. No, I opened up my phone to be like, what was the name of that title? That's a new one. Oh God. Yeah. So wild.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, that was my messy moment.
That was something. That was whew.
I can't. It feels good to talk about it though.
Yeah, I feel like you couldn't hold on to something like that
No, oh, it's
for
too
too
good.
long.
It's too good of a
Yeah,
story.
yeah.
That's the kind of story you're like, oh, this is terrible, but like, oh, this is gonna be real juicy to talk about.
Yeah. Uh,
Uh, do you have any
oh, I
messy
think
moments that you have prepared for the pod?
I have I had any life experiences the past week? Sort of. So
Oh.
I've been very well, not messy, but just like I have I had extended myself socially more than I have in a very long time. For
Mhm.
the last 4 days, I was like seeing different people in
Yeah, you've been
different places.
busy.
Yeah, which is so we're recording on a Sunday, which is not typical for us
No,
because it's like fast turnaround. Anyway, so
it's
this is
not.
like just
It's
what
not right
works.
now.
Yeah. Um. So Wednesday, when did it start? Wednesday. It had to have started Wednesday because it was 4 days. Wednesday, I like met up with a friend I haven't seen in a while, but we worked at Sephora together, so we were just catching up,
Mhm.
seeing how Sephora is going for her.
Mm.
Um, and
You'll have to
then
see the YouTube version to get the facial expression. Yeah, by the way,
uh,
I've started uploading video versions of all the shows. If you ever want to go to
yeah,
our YouTube page, it's all there.
you have old ones up or just the one that we
No,
did
I mean,
last
I'm just
week?
gonna say going forward, like I'll be
Okay, okay.
having video versions. Yeah.
Exciting news for everybody. So now you
Mm-hmm.
can have the joy of seeing us
I
and
mean, oh,
experiencing us in a new format.
invoking.
Welcome to the Sexorcist.
I'm a passionate prison. I'll get out of this prison by seducing anyone who gets in my way. Like it was the like weirdest. I was like, what is this plotline? Two strippers in prison break out by seducing anyone who gets in their way.
And like the funny thing is, it's I know it's like softcore porn for like straight people, but like something very queer. It feels very queer. Like it
Okay,
feels like
that's
very
very
gay.
queer.
Like that's a movie that I would watch. Like if it
Oh,
wasn't a
please let us
softcore.
pass. Oh, I have to
I
go
mean, like if it was like a
home.
major release that was a softcore porn that was about like two strippers in prison like trying to escape, I'd be like, I probably would see that. Like like I
By just
probably would
like
consider.
fucking everybody in the prison to get out. If you let me through the gate, you can fuck me. Anyway,
And
back to your story.
then I saw Tiffany on Thursday. We recorded, and
Lovely.
like we tried to keep it short and sweet because like I felt it's not that neither of us wanted to record, but like we were behind, and it was just like we did what we had to do. We like
Yeah.
came in, conquered, and then got out. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't like a extended social time with Tiffany, but it was like social. And then Friday I saw another friend, and then yesterday,
Yesterday is the one I'm curious about.
yesterday I hung out with my ex.
Uh-huh. And how was that?
Um, I it went well. I
Okay.
okay, so like I having issues placing my feelings just kind of in general because like
Mm-hmm.
there's a number of things happening in here.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to dig deep and like it's like do I still have feelings for him
Mm-hmm.
like romantically? Two, can I be his friend and also not have feelings for him
Yeah.
romantically?
Yeah.
But the problem with getting to those two things is that my guard is so high up that I don't know that I can access those because I have a reason to have my guard up
Yeah. Oh yeah.
when hanging out with this person.
Oh yes.
So I was just like, I like did it to see if everything would go smoothly, and it went. I would say it went smoothly.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say because we were talking about fight or flight earlier, my leg was like not don't think fidgeting, but like the muscles in my leg were like fidgeting as if like we gotta
Mm.
go. Like so I was in like fight or flight for like the first 30 minutes where I was just
Mm.
like, you have to leave. You're in
Mm. Mm-hmm.
this
Mm-hmm.
is crisis mode. We have
Yeah.
to get out. But I did manage to calm myself down. I only expected to hang out for like about an hour, but we hung out for like 4 hours. So we just talked. So there was nothing else happened. I don't want
Mm-hmm.
anyone to think we were in a Starbucks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
nothing can happen in a
Okay.
Starbucks. It
Good.
was like a
Good.
safe. I picked a safe zone that was no one's personal space in case it went tragically wrong. That
Yeah.
it would be like, oh, like we could just leave it. We
Yeah.
could leave it at that space. And
That's
it doesn't
probably
have to
best.
come home. But like he seems to be doing well, and like I'm excited about that. We talked about. I also told him relatively quickly because it felt like he was going to start like he was going to try to start unpacking things. Like at this conversation, I was like, I don't think that's the kind of conversations we need to be having today. We just need to be able to see if we can like hang out with each other. And I was like, and then if we can like form like a friendship or whatever and unpack those things later, like there's going to be another time for that. But like we need to see if we can get through this before we can see
I
if we
say
can
take
have
it,
those
yeah,
greater
real slow.
conversations.
I'd say take it one little baby step at a time.
But it was the first time in a long time where I felt like when I was hanging out with him that this is gonna sound so bad, but like the last couple times I saw him, which were like not great times to see him, because the one time he was telling me about his messiness, I was like, that's really, this is not the space to share that information. He was telling me about his messiness, and then the second to last time I saw him was like when he showed up to my house with the unicorn, which I talked about on another episode. So those are very like weird times, but both of those times, whenever he followed up, he was like, tonight was really fun, for both of those instances that we just previously mentioned. But this is the first time where like we left a thing and he texted me later that he was like was excited to hang out with me, that I also felt mutually that it was like a good thing to have seen. Yes, that's good. But again, it is weird to be like, I don't know like where I stand on it, because my brain hasn't like defragmented all of it. So I'm probably going to spend some time meditating this week on just me and my feelings and my thoughts, because they're there. And it's also, it was funny when after I got home, of course, you know, I told friends, so I was just like, they were going to want to know. So I Marco Polo'd with Tiffany. So I like sent her a Marco Polo. I think that's what it's called. I don't know if there's like a more catchy, snappy way to say that. But I like messaged her and I was like, it went well. But if you have specific questions for me, I'll be happy to answer them. But I don't know that I can generalize the experience for you. So
it's a lot to process.
It was. I also have never done anything like that before. So I really like don't like, I just am like,
my real like only, I don't know if you call it advice, just more like is like, I would say to take it real slow and just trust your instincts. If you ever get a warning sign, I would say try not to ignore it. I don't think you would.
I've already done that, so it's you know, if you don't get a second, you very rare, like this is, he does not realize that this is like he is special enough to get a second chance with me, because I don't like, even in ship, like once you break my trust, I'm normally just kind of like done with you. Like I might let you like, you might like be in my circle somewhat, like I might like, you might be privy, like you might think you're my friend, but like you don't know, you know what I mean, like we're like,
you don't know me,
each other, like where we still follow each other on Instagram and like each other's stuff, but it's like I don't consider you like a friend, you know?
I have people that like routinely interact with me on like Instagram, and I'm like, do you know that I hate you? Do you know I don't like you? I don't like you.
Right. So like,
great, I guess you could ask, why do I keep them as a friend on Instagram?
Right.
I don't have an answer for that.
But I will say the one thing that I like realized I missed the most is that like, I don't know that another person in my life in real time like keeps up the way that he does. And I think that's like we were laughing very hard like for most of the time that we were together. Like,
well,
and that's like
nice.
That was kind of like the vibe most of the time whenever things were good, before bad things started happening. Like it was like very much like, I always appreciated that was like
I
very
think the sad thing is like problems in relationships are usually like really dumb things that get in the way of like something that's actually not that much work. You know what I mean? Like if people just like it sounds like you were in a good place and then like bullshit got in the way.
It wasn't my bullshit though.
No, it's not your bullshit. I'm saying like just like,
I will say
so stupid.
I will repeat this only because it was like, to me, the most like, it spoke the most words without saying the most words, was he's now in therapy, which is like something that I had suggested when we were together, because like a lot of things, there were just like a lot of things, but I was like, but those are not things that I can directly help you with. So I was like, you need to go to therapy. He has started therapy, And I guess one of the things that he's found out in therapy is that, like, while he understands that actions he takes have consequences, he only really ever knew that, like, he only ever thought about the consequences directly related to him, not the consequences for the other person. And I was like, wow, that is something to consider.
That's relatable, honestly.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, yes, obviously you like, when you're selfish and you like make things, but like, I know when I'm hurting someone. And I am making the active choice to hurt someone. I have never not, like, no. Do you know what I mean? Like,
No,
he, like,
yeah.
the fact that he's like now realizing that, like, that's not something he ever considered when making decisions is interesting. I'm
Yeah,
not
I
gonna
guess
unpack
the
that
only
here, but it was like,
only relatable part is sometimes you don't think about how like your anxiety can also be like experienced by other people. I guess that's what the part I was like, oh, that's relatable. But I also know when
yeah,
I'm hurting somebody too. You know what I
right. I
mean?
mean, that wasn't really the way he phrased it. Probably
Yeah,
more what you said was probably what he meant by it. But I was just like,
maybe.
clocked. No, clocked. Yeah, but we will be hanging out again.
All right.
Mhm.
Very nice. Very nice.
It feels, I don't know why I like can't put my finger on like where I'm falling, but it just like it feels better.
That's good.
Yes, I feel like better, but like also don't know what that means either.
Yeah. I feel like transitioning from like a relationship into friends is always a journey.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I've tried it and it's sometimes actually, no, I guess it's never worked. Because I mean, now
This
that I'm
bodes
thinking
well.
about it. I have one ex that like we're friendly, but
Mhm.
un I can't un I can't unknow the things I know about them, you know? So I'm just like, fuck that guy. You know, like it's I'm just like
Yeah.
I can't just view him as a friend because I bring all this baggage into the dynamic that like, you know, I
I made it,
can't forget about. So, you know.
yeah. I made a very conscious effort to like not bring up anything that like could even tangentially get related to something
Yeah.
that was like wouldn't have been good to like bring up.
Yeah.
Um, although we did talk about Drag Race.
Oh, jeez.
He brought it up, and I was like, I'm gonna need you to not talk for the next 10 minutes because I have something to say.
I got something to say.
So then I unloaded that rant to him, and he
Yes,
was
I
like,
watched your rant on Instagram.
"Oh yeah, well yes, that was essentially it." But I also hadn't had an interaction with someone where I could just like
Yeah.
bounce the
Yeah,
things
I
off
mean,
of them.
you
And
said to me,
so
you're like, I think I'm done. And I was like, girl, do you? Like, you know, if you think you're
I
done, be
know.
done.
I think I have to be. I'm just so done with like the nonsense of that
I feel
show.
like
Just
you get your feelings very invested in Drag Race in terms of production buffoonery.
I do. It
That's
really
not I'm
upsets
not that's not a
me.
read. That's like
Yeah,
a
no,
I
it
think
it does. It really upsets me in such a way where, like, in my head, they had
oh
spoilers
yeah,
ahead
spoiler
for
Drag
Drag
Race,
Race.
yeah.
I'm not
Don't
gonna like break down everything that happened, but
yeah.
I did not need Trinity K. Bonet to win. I didn't.
No,
I
I didn't,
didn't.
yeah.
But to
No.
me, it feels very yucky the way that
Oh,
they backdoored her out of like being in the
do
finale.
you know what broke
Like,
my heart? The moment where I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this was when she was like, I was so close. I was so close.
I
I
didn't
was like,
watch it all.
oh yeah.
So
She literally cried on the couch. It was just like, I was so close. Like I could take, and I was like, this is really, and it was unfair to many people because it wasn't fair to Eureka, who was just
right,
trying to do the challenge, like you know, like she's
sure.
trying to do whatever. The point that I think is the most upsetting, and I think I think most people agree with this at least, is that they waited too long to do this. If they were gonna do this, it should have been like the
Mhm.
top six, so that there was
Yeah, like
still
halfway
some
through.
time. The fact that they
Yeah.
them think we're the final four, and then they were like, never mind, like that, it was weird. It was
Yeah.
really weird. And I felt bad for Silky, who like, you know,
So here's,
I'm not even a Silky boy, like
neither
ever,
am
but like
I.
I kind of fell in love with her a little bit on that episode because I was like, you know, good for you, get bitch. Like I thought that was like
Mhm.
amazing. And then it was just like, let's get sent home. Like I think what they should have done, it should have been like at the top six and just bring them both back and then just like eliminate
Mhm.
two people or however they want to fucking do it. I don't know. But it did feel icky. I won't
It
fight you on that. It felt icky.
So that was like where my problem started. The episode
Yeah.
started, but and then like Loki did. But also I did not watch all of the last episode because someone was like, it ends on a cliffhanger, and I was like, then I do not care.
Right.
This episode started, and they did like, you're right. Like it just feels wrong that Silky did like not get any opportunity after like doing what she did in the last episode, and also like you not a big Silky
No,
fan,
yeah, I
but
mean, yeah.
that felt icky, and it like set the tone. And I was like, some bad shit's gonna happen. I watched the monologues. I watched critique, and I was like, I fucking hate this. I didn't even wait for Rue to say that Eureka won. I already like knew that she won, like because just the way the critiques went. I just skipped to the end, and I was like, I can't believe this fucking happened. So I have no idea what happened from like Eureka getting announced the winner to Trinity being announced at home. I didn't watch anything after they revealed the lipsticks. I like also didn't watch the lip sync. I just went right to the point where I was just like,
You
I
didn't
just need to
miss much
know.
with the lip sync, honestly. I was very
It
excited
just,
for Jada, but then it was like the worst song.
yeah, I like caught a moment of the song. I was like, what is this? But
It
then
was
I was just
really
like,
weird.
I like moved right along.
It
But
was
like
a Bina was so stupid with the challenge. Is like I even could see the girls not even understanding like what they were supposed to be doing. It's like so because like I
well,
thought Kylie did a great job, but she did something completely different than like what Eureka did, you know. So like this is weird.
here's the thing. So they're getting critiqued, right? And they get to Eureka, and Carson says the words out loud on the main stage. He was like, this didn't really feel like a monologue, and I like that. And I was like, then what was the fucking challenge?
I
Was the
just
challenge to give a monologue, or was the challenge to like do a stand-up set? Because clearly you wanted one thing but asked for a different thing.
well, that's
And
why I hate
that's
about
what
those types of
bothered me, is that
challenges because like
four
what do
out
you
of the
want?
five people did one style of thing. Eureka did a different thing and then got rewarded for it, whereas all of the other people followed the brief. Like it
One
really bugged me.
one again, like I'm not mad at Eureka because maybe that's what she thought a monologue was. Like, oh, so like a stand-up? Like, you know, because again, what the fuck do you want from this
I have no
challenge?
ill will towards Eureka
No,
either.
but
It's
then it
just
does
that
feel weird to then have your
yeah,
positive critique be, you know, you didn't exactly do what we told you to do. I like that. Like, because then it's like, what?
yeah.
Huh? That what they need to do is no more of these. Please stop doing these
Yeah.
types of challenges. Like,
I don't need a twist. I've always been like a big promoter of like, just let the queens be great, and if they are great, let them be it.
right.
Right. But they were doing such a good job of that until this episode. And I was like,
Yeah.
now you're not letting the queens be great. And I'm upset about it. Like very upset about it.
And the whole thing, I feel bad because like I won't lie, the original top four was like a pretty perfect top four for me. I was like, wow, this is like really good. And
It
now it
felt
just
good.
and now everything just feels like off. And
Yeah.
it's yeah, I'm still rooting for my girl Kylie. So, you know, I'm still in this for the long game.
Yes. So like my resolve of this is that if Raja nor Kylie win, then I'm
Oh,
upset.
those are the only two
I
I'm
even
rooting for. Those are the only two I'm rooting
yeah,
for.
but like they're gonna give it to Ginger. There's like no,
I don't think
based
they
on the way
will.
the way they just behaved proved that they wanted Ginger to win.
No, but I also don't think they'll. But I don't.
You can't. There's a pattern with this production company and the way they produce this show. It's absolutely.
But the only other reason I could see them not giving it to her is them being like, well, we don't need to give it to her because she won like $60,000. So like technically she doesn't need to win. I could see them like also they have like a really I hate actually I'm not even gonna say because it belittles the achievements of the queen, but like I think they have other choices that they could go to that would be better for them in a PR way is what I would say. So I don't know if they would go with Ginger. I hope it just I don't need Ginger to win. Like I'm just like, yeah. This is not a drag race podcast, but like, you know,
No,
but
but
whatever. And honestly, God, I'm probably gonna talk about it later. So
yeah, sorry. I'm like the prelude.
no, girl, it's okay. Like, I've got lots of feelings. I don't know. I have like another messy moment I could also tell, unless I don't know what we want to do.
I mean, I pulled messy moments. So if you want to do well, all of mine actually ended up being very deep. So maybe not
Okay.
for today. But if you have a small one you want to do, we can do it.
This one's more like a funny story
Okay.
or a messy story.
Remember the last funny story you told? And I was like, that's it.
No, this is just messy. This is just messy. This
Okay.
one's just messy. Okay. This was from so some ask gay bros, though he's not really asking anything.
Okay.
It's more just a story. Okay. This is possibly the wildest night of my life, and I'm still laughing uncontrollably as I type this. I scheduled to meet with a guy I met on Grindr. Let's say his name is Kyle. Um, and he'd only shared we'd only shared one picture. First of all, weird.
Wow.
I guess over the weekend he catches amnesia or something and completely forgets how I look. Fast forward to 9:30 p.m. and Kyle texts me that he's at the door. I opened the door, didn't see anyone, and he had also completely ghosted me on text. I was sure at the moment that I had just been punked. He calls me 2 minutes later, and here's when I get the climactic rundown. So he showed up, and my landlord, who I didn't know was gay, opens the door and asks him, Grindr? In which he automatically assumed was me. The greatest part of this is that I'm 6'1" and my landlord is 5'5". And he also just assumed he got catfished. Back to the story. My landlord gets naked and proceeds to suck this guy's dick. 5 seconds into the BJ, he feels super uneasy, and I guess somehow his memory kicks in, and then he goes, wait, are you Joe? And that was the exact moment Kyle knew he done fucked up. Basically the answer, dudes, what are the goddamn chances that my landlord schedules a Grindr hookup on the exact day and time as me? I'm still grinding my teeth as cringe at how wickedly awful this night was. Wow. He also left an update that Kyle did end up fucking him later, and that was nice.
Well,
But wow,
glad they got.
what a happy ending. What a
Yeah,
happy
I
ending.
mean, I hope it was worth all of that
Oh
for everyone
God,
involved. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like for everybody.
he said he
I hope it
finished
ended up.
twice, so that's nice. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
A 2-timer is like a good hookup for me. That's like a cool, great. We love that.
Amazing.
Love that.
Wow.
What a
I don't
wild
know.
tale.
Yeah, that is. I mean, that's one for the ages. Like, I mean, that's like a good icebreaker story.
What I just don't understand is, like, for me, if I showed up for a Grindr date and like the person didn't look how I thought they were gonna look, like, I'm not just staying. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna stay.
I have heard. So this is not direct experience. I'm not even like saying that now. It sounds like, well, my friend said, no. But I have like heard from other gay men that like they just will follow through, like almost out of like a pity situation.
No.
I'm with you. I would not do that.
Well, because I'm not here to be bamboozled.
No.
Like, I'm not here to trick other people, and I'm not here to get tricked myself. So I just I don't like that.
I don't know. The how far I'm removed from Grindr culture, I just like the more I hear about it, I just like, why?
I did download Grindr when I was in Pittsburgh just because I wanted to see like how many gay men were in the grid. It was wild, especially where I was staying. There was lots of many gay men.
Yeah, there are a lot of gay guys here. I also sometimes downplay that, but like they're not hard to find. But it's also just like I know all of them.
Also, some of them are flaky. Some of them are just as flaky as the Asheville gays, is what I would say.
Yeah, not to stereotype us, but gays tend to
Like,
be flaky.
what is about
kind of in
men
general.
just like poof disappearing? You know what I mean? Like, I'll have guys I literally talk to like every day for like 2 weeks or something, and then one day it's just like.
Well, even though it's like a very casual commitment, it's still a commitment, and they're afraid of that.
Okay, but God. Well, but it's always never like, it's so weird. It's always the guy that's like, I'm looking for something real and lasting and not looking for an endless string of nonsense. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not even expecting anything, but it's just like weird that people just dissipate. The faggotry dissipates. Oh, well, what can you do? That's science.
As faggotry dissipates. I'm just imagining like us all having bars over our head. Yeah. It's like sometimes you're at full seconds, sometimes it's like it just goes down.
And
almost like
you just go
Pilgrim
poof.
versus the world.
Yes. Oh no. Well, do we want to get anything heavy today? I could also just be cool with wrapping up if you wanted to. It's up to you.
You know what? I think it's okay for us to be nice and light this week, considering I have to meditate on how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
So
So we'll just call it a day, maybe.
yeah, I think it's okay for us. I'll like when I got home from that yesterday,
Yeah.
I think that I had my body was signing like, and no more. Like I like it was like 5 p.m. and I like crawled into my bed and I was like, no more people, please.
Oh,
No more people.
I was thinking about that for you. I'm like, that's a lot of energy. That's a lot of energy.
Yeah. And I was just like,
Well,
I
me
can't do this.
yesterday, for me, quick little story. I went to this film festival with my friend slash roommate and his boyfriend and a couple other people, and like it was a full day of like we went to lunch and it was very hot out. It was like 90 degrees out. And like
Yeah,
went to lunch and then we went to this rooftop pool party, which sounded really fun on paper. But then we got to the rooftop pool party and it was a pool on the rooftop in the beating sun in 90 degrees, and there were not enough umbrellas, is what I would say. There was a lot of, and so I was so like, I guess, dehydrated because also I don't drink a lot and I had like 4 drinks. So I at one point had to go to the bathroom and just like splash my face with cold water and be like, get it together, bitch. Get it together. I thought I was gonna pass out. I was like, what is going on with me? And eventually I like drank some water and like sat down. I was just like, ugh, and, like, but it was a whole moment. But then we also went to a film screening that night and then went to an after party. So by the time we got home at like 1 o'clock in the morning, whatever, I'm like, this is too much. This is too much.
Yeah, that's a
like,
lot.
I don't do that. It was really fun, but it
I
was
would have
too
been
much.
gone halfway through whatever that was. Like I would have been like, I'm good.
It was lots of fun, but it was just kind of like, whew.
Yeah. It doesn't. I could be having the best time and still being like, I'm not doing the rest of this. This is where I leave. Like this.
I did deuce out of the pool party like 30 minutes before it was over. I'm like, I'm gonna go. I've experienced everything I need to experience. This has been lovely. I didn't bring a swimsuit with me because we had said like, and now I'm like, what an idiot move, because we're like, let's just like drink around the pool and like, you know, vibe. But I think we thought the setup was gonna be different. We thought we could be like under some umbrella somewhere having a lovely time, but there was no umbrellas to be found. So that's fine.
No cabanas or anything?
Well, they had cabanas, but this was at a hotel, so they were all private cabanas for the guests. So, which was just, and they were all empty. So it was all fucking stupid. I'm like, these are all empty. We can't use any of these. Like, really? Like, no one's using them. So it was a bad setup, honestly. 2 thumbs down. But the drinks were good.
Well, that's good.
And that's all that matters, really.
That really is all that matters.
And I had a cute outfit for the daytime and the nighttime, so I felt very.
I saw your
very
daytime outfit. When
did
did
I
I see it? Oh, I saw it on Instagram. Did you post it on your Instagram stories?
I did. You can only see a little sliver. It was a little like white button-up shirt, but I felt very, and I had my little white kids with it. I felt very cute.
Yeah, it was a very cute outfit, if I recall correctly.
And I had this. I wore this black tank top that had this very large embroidered rose on the back of it.
Oh,
yeah, a little flower moment.
Florals for summer.
Groundbreaking. Well, I guess that's been another Messy Mondays, I guess. Yeah.
And boy, has it been.
Okay, I'm gonna have to my sister to text me and be like, I just listened to your show. What? We'll see. I don't know. Again, I don't know if she listens to this. I think she does. Oh, we'll see. Well, do you want to let the listeners know where they can stalk you online when you're off a messy?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So you can find me on youtube.com. I am Hot Mess Tom there, and Instagram, and it's spelled HAUTEMESSTOM. And then I am also on 2 other podcasts, If Bears Repeating, a pop culture expansion pack with my friend Tiffany. And then I also have a Patreon only podcast called Recollect, where we talk about music and laugh. And I think that's the only places you can find me on the internet. Zacary.
You can find me at Zacary with no H on Instagram and Twitter. Sometimes TikTok, but not really lately. Like, you know, we haven't been making new content. You know, it is what it is, and that's fine. And I also have 2 other podcasts. If you want to listen to more queers talking about RuPaul's Drag Race, you can tune into 2 Gays Watch, where we're currently finishing up All Star 6, and I also have my solo podcast, the motherboard of this podcast, In
The
Another World, a
motherboard.
pop culture. It technically started there. It's like the mother, call me mother, or something. That goes, I don't know any of the words.
Body like wow.
Body like wow. Yeah, In Another World, a pop culture podcast, where currently we're finishing up a watch through of Friday the 13th, and Tom will actually be on that show not this coming Friday, but next Friday. So it'll be lots of fun stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me. That's all I got.
Wow.
Wowie.
Amazing. We did it.
Amazing. We did it. I'm gonna go see if I can find any more softcore porn titles on my Amazon Prime.
And I will also be doing the same thing. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Your cure for the weekend. Messy Monday.